I don't know if y'all know about Kai Sanat. I think that's how you pronounce his name. The YouTube streamer that first had Kevin Hart on his show, and excuse me, he um he has this show called Streamer University, right? So for some reason, everybody says that he's sneaky. So what he does is he tries to appear while everybody's doing their thing, all commotion. He's like the undercover boss. All of a sudden, they say he just appears out of nowhere. And sometimes these kind of things happen. Like I said, like undercover boss, you sitting there yapping and running your mouth, talking about this guy, that guy, messing up the environment, co-workers, whatever, right? So out of nowhere, you find out at the end of the show that all along the insults and all the behavior, you taking lunch breaks early, not coming back from work and all your lunch breaks, coming back late and things like that. Out of nowhere, you find out at the end of the show it's your boss, right? So Kai on his show, the website that he's running, Streaming University, he pops out of nowhere on these people, just because he's trying to see what they're doing. So it's kind of similar like the undercover boss, how he comes out of nowhere. So when you think about how some things come out of nowhere and it affects who you are and what you're doing, it's crazy if you pass away and then all your business come out of nowhere. To my original point about out of nowhere, you find out that Lindsey Graham, the whole time he's been bashing uh, gay people, transgenders, and the whole LGBT community, come to find out that he was a homosexual all along, that he had been getting sexual favors from prostitutes doing strange things to him. And this is the real reason why they say he didn't get married. It has nothing to do with him raising his sister, his baby sister, because she was 11, he was 18. So they, oh, that's why he didn't marry no woman. He don't got time for women. He's raising his little sister. But it was a low key underplay. The whole time the guy was a homosexual. He just didn't want to admit to it. He didn't want to tell the world about it. But some people knew already that he was a homosexual. He was a closet DL, you know, and that's just what it is. So I found these clips and these news stories about how secretly that a prostitute has came out in the open and said it wasn't for Lizzie Graham paying her all this money all the time, annually, literally, pun intended, that she wouldn't have been able to help the people she helped in her life and her family. And because of him, she was able to provide for herself and her family. But she was battering him because she was like, well, now that he's gone, he spent his whole career bashing the LGBT community. The whole time he was secretly LGBT. He was part of the community, so she was kind of pissed, and she left her words and her sentiments and how she really felt about him. She was happy to take that money, but you see that low key, she was really pissed at him for she felt like was an enemy to their LGBT community, a false person, and was closet, and she felt like he should have came out instead of fighting the LGBT community. She should have should have fought for them. And now you can speculate that maybe Trump found out about these secret low key rendezvous and maybe got some images and videos. Maybe that's coming out soon. I don't know. But somebody found out something, and that might explains why he switched from fighting Trump to defending Trump. Check it out.
Ever heard the phrase out of nowhere? It means something happens suddenly and unexpectedly. Ever heard the phrase out of nowhere? It means something happens suddenly and unexpectedly, without warning. The storm came out of nowhere and soaked everything. He showed up out of nowhere and surprised everyone. Use out of nowhere when something catches you off guard or happens with
able to hit that. It looked like he was standing ovation clear up. RKO out of nowhere. Man, that guy, he hit it standing like a layup. Oh shit, the person right there. He's still behind us? He's still behind us or no? On his arm, never introduced a fiancée at a state dinner, and never explained himself beyond a joke. Then, within days of his sudden passing at 71, the silence broke. His only sibling, the sister he raised almost single-handedly, finally told the world the real reason Lindsey Graham never married. It is a story far more moving than anyone expected, and it begins decades before he ever set foot in the Senate. A childhood behind the bar in central South Carolina. Lindsey Olin Graham was born on July 9, 1955, in the small town of central South Carolina, a blue-collar community where his parents, Millie and Florence James Graham, ran a restaurant, bar, pool hall, whose career was shaped as much by his willingness to challenge expectations as by the policies he championed. His political identity went through a dramatic transformation during this same broader period. He was among Donald Trump's sharpest Republican critics during the 2016 primary season, at one point calling him a race-baiting bigot after Trump proposed banning Muslims from entering the country, a moment that led Trump to publicly reveal Graham's personal cell phone number at a campaign rally. In the years following John McCain's death in 2018, Graham gradually became one of Trump's most influential Republican allies in the Senate, a political shift that reshaped his public identity almost as thoroughly as his private family story had shaped his personal one. He went on to chair the Senate Judiciary Committee from 2019 to 2021, playing a central role in confirming a long line of federal judges, and later chaired the Senate Budget Committee from 2025 until his death, remaining a fixture of American foreign policy debates until his final days in office. Darlene Graham Nordun finally explains the choice behind it all. Senator Lindsey Graham died on July 11, 2026, at the age of 71, following what his office initially described as a brief and sudden illness. A preliminary medical examination later pointed to a torn aorta connected to hardened arteries as the likely cause, a condition that can develop silently for years before turning fatal without warning, which made the timing of his death especially jarring, given that he had recently returned from an overseas trip and had a high-profile media appearance scheduled for that very week. Tributes poured in from across the political spectrum within hours. Meghan McCain, daughter of Graham's late friend, wrote a personal remembrance describing him as someone she and her family had come to think of as an extension of their own, recalling how he remained close to them for years after her father's death in 2018, continuing to visit and call long after.
Just woke up to find out Lindsey Graham is dead. LOL. Most of you know him as the homophobic senator from South Carolina, but to me, he will always be the man who paid a Twinkie pre-transition college student, she says, me, a fat stack of cash to do unspeakable things to him in a hotel room while he wore red lingerie. Recognize their enemies just to make rent. It is an absolute mindfuck to me that one of the reasons I have any semblance of financial security and lack of student loans is because of this man. At the time, I had no idea who he was, and I only figured it out because another group of twinks leaked Lady G to the media. Some queers tried to grandstand critique this, saying we shouldn't out people. I believe bigots with power deserve no peace or privacy, especially when they hold public office. I'm glad they did it. Icons forever. Anyway, if you've ever enjoyed what I do on the internet, know if I've ever sent you money for something, know that was kickstarted by the now deceased sissy senator from South Carolina. Lindsay, rest in hell for what you did to our community. I will continue to love queer and trans people harder than you ever hated us. I love every second of our time together, and now everyone knows.